portions of this program may not be suitable for those under the age of 18. Parental guidance is suggested.
My name's Dave Troyer. I'm the director of golf at Common Ground Golf Course, who's the proud sponsor of the Beer30 Show. And you are listening to the Beer30 Show with Danny and Joel.
Alrighty. Beer30 is when you walk into a bar or a VFW, and in that 30 seconds, you can already tell.
That guy right there is drunk, that guy's an idiot, and that guy down there knows it all.
There are programs out there beyond the VA.
Many non-profit organizations. The Beer30 Show.
It's the Beer30 Show. Made by veterans.
For veterans.
I need 3 just before I got out. Those were my pre-Jesus days, man. I was a bad kid.
So what was your job though? Not the rank.
Oh, okay. See, what did I tell you? I didn't know much either. I was actually a cook. I was an MS. I was a cook.
Oh, an MS. Oh, I remember going cranking that one time on the ship. Luckily, one of the MS-1s liked me enough to put me in charge. I was the lead FSA during the time. So I didn't really have to be as bad as everybody else. That was nice. So, but yeah, I was in for a little bit. I joined up as an undesignated deck seaman and then struck out to master at arms. So.
Hey.
So, anyway, with no further ado, we got Joel over here. He's extremely excited because his Broncos won the Super Bowl yesterday. Something I told him I thought would happen, but thinking logically, I was said the Panthers were going to win. However, I did tell Joel every time I think a team's going to win, the other team wins. So, in reality, I was saying the Broncos were going to win. And he was still pulling. He still thought the Panthers were going to win. Joel, how are you today, buddy?
Hey, you know what, Danny? I'm doing good, man. I tell you what, for everybody that doesn't know, going to the Super Bowl it's an arm and a leg, let me tell you. I mean, it is so expensive, it's not even funny, okay? But not only going to the Super Bowl, but going to a Super Bowl that your team is in and it wins. Now that, my friend, is priceless. I have to admit that's priceless. It's crazy the feeling that you get when the confetti comes down and emotions are rolling. You would have laughed at me. My wife laughed at me, but I'm not gonna lie. I was crying, man. I was literally bawling, just because of where we started from, what we've been through. All the kinks and all the turns. And even though I have my thoughts about Peyton Manning. One thing for sure is nobody can deny that he's a classy guy, especially with the military. Very classy guy. But I'm just glad that he finally got it. And if he doesn't retire now, dude, I'm going to be really disgusted.
Well, I believe you had a bet you made with some friends.
Oh, God. I knew you was going to bring that up. Okay, so check this out, Dmac. This is what I got to do. Because I wanted them to win so bad, but I was pretty sure that they wasn't going to. I made a bet with a friend of mine that he's a huge Peyton Manning fan ever since Tennessee. And I told him, I'm like, nah, dude, there's no way they're going to win the Super Bowl. I mean, if somebody, I don't know if you follow NFL, but if somebody came up to you from the start of the season and say, the Denver Broncos are going to win the Super Bowl, you'd be laughing in their face hysterically. When he told me this, I'm like, yeah, whatever, dude. Well, you know what? If Peyton Manning wins the Super Bowl, I will go outside, and outside it's about 30, 35 degrees out because it's kind of cold here in Colorado. Go figure. So I'm going to have a sign that says, sorry, Peyton, I was wrong. Congratulations. Go Broncos. And I'm going to be in my underwear.
Underwear? I thought it was less than underwear, buddy.
Oh, dude, Danny, I had to be in underwear, or I had to be in like one of those like banana hammock things or whatever. Because I don't want to. Hey, it's all nice to have fun, but I don't want to get arrested.
Yeah. So you say banana hammock, but what you're really saying is just a bikini bottom for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, but when I think of a bikini bottom, I think of those, when we were like in grade school, how it was it was what you call it. It was like the fad, those French suits, and now they have those bathing suits that literally
Those Speedos you're talking about.
and then it just covers the ball part.
Yeah. So anyway, we're gonna.
Have you done this already, Joe? Have you done this?
Have I done this yet? No.
Yeah.
No, I
When
haven't.
are you gonna do? When are you gonna do it?
I'm gonna give it probably. I'll take a day so that I can make the sign tomorrow, and then I'll do it before Friday. Have you done this before, Dmac? Do you have any guidance, any suggestions or tips?
No, but I was going to tell you that I think you'd be okay without the underwear, because in New York, I see it happen a lot, and like the cops run the other way. I don't think they'll even go near you.
Well, I don't think anybody wants to fight a naked guy, to be honest.
That's what I'm
Maybe, possibly, right?
No, I think Joel's going to try to pick the warmest day out of the week.
Especially if you have the sign. They'll be like, yeah, okay, let him go. He's okay.
All right, so Daryl, why don't you tell us a little bit about A Soldier's Child? Let us know how it got started and what it's about.
Okay. Well, if anybody's been to our website before, Soldier's Child Foundation, you'd see the photograph, the iconic wartime photograph of young Christian Golzinski. He's 8 years old. His father was Marine Staff Sergeant Marcus Golzinski. He was killed in Iraq, March 27, 2007 by sniper fire. And that photo was taken at Mark's funeral, and Mark's parents were my neighbors. So that was really my connection to the Golzinskis and to that photograph. So, a number of things happened, besides Mark losing his life. But, Henry said to me one night in anger, did it really freaking matter, and does anybody even give a damn? And it made me question, being a veteran, loving this country, it made me question. I never once thought about the kids and the families left behind. So, and then the thing that really pushed it over the top for me was one night as I was prepping for my own son's party, I kind of copped this attitude with all the chores that went into prepping his party. I realized I got convicted in my spirit that my greatest fear was not dying, but leaving my kids behind. And I stared at that photo, and it ripped my heart apart. And I said, "Man, I want to do something." And that's how it all began.
Oh, that's awesome, Daryl. So, what is it you guys do for the, I believe, veterans and stuff like that, or the children?
It's the children of the fallen. It's all branches of service. We call it A Soldier's Child. And a lot of feel like this, Danny. A lot of my Navy friends, it happened like 2 times. They were like, "Hey, Daryl, man, just love what you're doing. Soldier's Child Foundation camp for the kids. Man, that's awesome. But you were in the Navy. Why A Soldier's Child?" I was like, "Look, a squid kid sounds good, but no one's going to know what the heck that is."
Yeah. You just said a squid's kid, right?
A squid kid. No one's going to know what a squid kid is.
Yeah.
Hey, he's actually funnier than you, Danny.
Well, it's not that hard to do when I'm with you, Joel.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, that's rough. So that was the beginning, and so what we do is we started by celebrating Christian's 10th birthday. He was the very first. We now have 2,500 children all across the country, and we literally are celebrating anywhere from 175 to 225 birthdays for children of our fallen. It's all military branches. It's all active duty deaths, so it's not just KIA. It could be suicide, heart attack, training accident, any death occurred during active duty, and any child. So biological children, half children, step, foster, doesn't matter to us. Any child that called their mom or dad, we're going to care for them. And we do birthdays. We have a summer camp. We have a hunting program, a fishing program. We're on World Fishing Network with the Force on Force Fishing Show, and we facilitate in college scholarships, all to answer that question that Henry asked me. Did it matter? And does anybody even care?
Yeah, that's one of those things you always think about. A lot of people, when a soldier or a sailor or an airman dies, you feel bad for that person specifically, and you want to honor that person. What a lot of people don't realize is that the families are still left behind. And I remember I had a conversation once with somebody, and this is kind of like off the topic, but when you're thinking about like suicides, especially with veteran suicides and that kind of stuff, for the person who's dying, feels kind of for the family members, it's kind of selfish for us to want to keep them from being in a better place, but at the same time, it's still going to hurt. It's that part's going to always be there, and it kills that family member. For a child not being able to grow up with one of their parents now, that's even worse. Because you don't know the type of role that person played in that, and talking about these types of things. This is kind of where my PTSD kicks in, so I don't talk too much about it. So I'm going to pass it off to Joel to ask the next couple questions.
Danny acts like a tough guy, because he's a Raiders fan, but under that musky beard goatee of his, he's kind of a teddy bear at heart. So teddy bear, not teddy bear. I tell you what, it's happening again, Danny. I'm starting this mispronouncing already, and I'm not even drunk. But anyway, so
you haven't slept.
Yeah, you missed it last week. I totally messed up pro bono for something else, and Danny made sure to catch that, and he exploited that. Let me tell you, I felt like Cam Newton, no support.
Wow, that might be a little too early for those Panther fans there, Joel.
But maybe you have already told Danny this, and maybe I didn't hear it. But we kind of told us, how this inspired you to do this. My question was there a particular situation that, I don't want to say that inspired you, but has there been a particular situation that has touched you a little bit more stronger than the normal mission?
There's a number of stories that I can tell you from the moms, from the kids. I mean, it's heart-wrenching. You really go in deep and hear the stories. But there is one in particular. There was a mom 2 years ago. when she lost her husband. Can you hear me, guys?
Yes, we can hear
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. It was about, sorry about that. It was about
That's
2 years
okay.
ago. But it was 6 months after she lost her husband. Her 2-year-old daughter drowned. And then about 3 months after that, she lost her brother. And, you talk about snowball. I mean, and she had 5 kids. So, it was hard on the whole family. Well, anyhow, we had our journey camp last summer, and she came to journey camp. We had like 75 campers for the whole week, and she's talking to these kids. She's ministering to these kids with all that she's been through. She's showing so much strength, and she's telling them on how to really deal with loss. And she says, we don't prepare ourselves. Our families don't prepare us. Our parents don't prepare us for loss. And she started teaching us about the 7 myths of grieving, like time heals all wounds. She's like, that's crap. And she went through each one. Everything will be okay. She's like, says who? And she got to a point where she started teaching the kids about tears. And she said, they did a study on the 3 tears. One from when you laugh so hard, kind of like seeing Joel running down the street naked with his Peyton Manning sign. You would laugh so hard when you saw that. And from an onion, so when you cry from an onion, and then tears of sadness, tears of loss. And in the tears from grief, they found a healing hormone in that. And she said to the kids, she said, you ever cry so hard about something bad, and then afterwards you say, I feel better now. And she taught the kids, well, that's something that like God put in us, that when we actually cry and let it go, that, we do find healing. So, and it was so powerful because there was a number of kids that had lost their mom or dad that had never even cried. And, it brought them to a place where it was okay. It was a safe environment. That's what our journey camps really are. It's a safe environment for our kids to really face what they've been through. Because they have others that have been through it, It's kind of like empathy. The other kids have been through it, and it's a safe environment because, everybody's in the same boat with me.
Wow.
So that one, I guess, would be one. But back to the tears of laughter. I noticed you guys didn't laugh when I said that one part, Joe.
No, it's okay. It's this is the deal, Dmac. So this is a great organization,
Thanks,
and
buddy.
the mission that you guys are doing right now. I don't want to say it's important. I want to say that it's vital.
I agree.
I'm guessing that because unfortunately, Dan, my colleague, he had to step away from the desk for a couple of minutes because he's already getting choked up because of the story.
Cheers. Yeah, I hear you.
So,
I understand.
but I wanted to let you know that the mission that you guys are doing is very vital. And even though we can't sit here and have you tell us story after story, I think the listeners out there, they hear your story. They know what's going on, and see, this is the thing, and I don't want to take away from the mission to gripe, but one thing that I learned was when my mother when she got diagnosed with cancer, I didn't hear anything about cancer until it affected me. you know.
Yeah, I understand
And I'm sure there are individuals or people out there, and I know a lot of people right now are listening. Like, okay, this is supposed to be a funny show. You guys are sitting here making me cry, but you know it has to be said. I'm sure that there are people that they just want to see the good stories and the feel good stories. They don't want to hear the emotional. I don't know if outcry would be the best.
Let me tell you this. I can tell you by the work that we're doing. You know, if we weren't doing the work that we're doing, it would be, left at that trauma state. But the work that we're doing in these kids' lives and these families' lives, joy comes in the morning, man. I promise you, we are changing their lives. We're saving their lives in cases, and we're truly bringing laughter, joy, fun. We have adventure in everything we're doing. I mean, we are, we have a lot of fun. I mean, everybody.
Oh, I bet you do.
We have a blast. We have a blast.
I bet
we
you
do.
do.
I promise. Yeah.
No, I was just gonna say. I bet you have
medicine.
I bet you've changed lives. You guys have a great time at functions. I bet you that not only have they touched your life, but you've touched their life as well. I totally get it. And Danny's back. Are you good, bro? Danny, are you?
I'm good.
Are you good? Okay. Danny gets emotional sometimes, but that's good though. That is good because Dmac, if you can sit here and talk to us and tell us the story, then I'm sure that there are listeners out there that are listening to this episode right now, and that you have just, touched their life a little bit. And without further ado, because we are kind of running into that crunch time, before I forget, and I'll let Danny go ahead and ask you any questions he would like to, since you gave us a really good, inspiring, and now it's my time to go and cry, Danny. If you could explain to everybody how we can contribute to the mission, how can we donate? Can we volunteer? I mean, I'm in Colorado. What can I do?
Well, I'm glad you asked that. And there's a couple of things I want to tell you. Number one, that we receive no government funding. It's a citizen initiative, and it's going to stay that way. Okay. Number two, we are 87% of every dollar spent goes to the kids in programs and services. So we are very frugal and very diligent in how we spend our money. So people need to know that, 87%. We're trying to get to 90%. We've been doing it for 7 years now. But we have this program called CCAP, and it stands for Compassionate Corporate America Partners. So we take a Soldier's Child Foundation on the road, everywhere from L.A. to Dallas to Miami to New York, Baltimore, Maine, Chicago, and we put on these events within communities, and they are the hands and feet that actually go out and shop for all these kids, $150 per child per birthday. So we're spending $25,000 in 3 hours at a local Walmart. We bring it all back to a facility, church, high school. The whole community comes out. News stations come out. I mean, everybody comes out and covers it. And we have a big birthday party for all the kids that live in that local community area. And then we wind up wrapping for about 3 or 4 hours and package them all up and then ship them all over the country for in time for the upcoming month's birthdays. So, in fact, we're doing one on Monday and Tuesday this coming week for all of March birthdays. So that's how it works.
Awesome.
Yeah. So if you go to our website, all that information is on there, but go to our Facebook / The Soldier's Child, and you'll see all the stories, all the events. It's pretty powerful stuff.
Yeah, those stories, some of those stories I can't read.
Hey, brother, I wanted to give you one funny story.
Okay, go ahead. As long as it's a funny story.
We need a funny story.
It's funny. It's a funny.
Danny
Listen,
has
you're
a
gonna
couple
love
of
this one.
kids, so he's kind of emotional with this stuff. If you can't tell.
I'm gonna give you two, because I heard two funny stories for you, Danny, because I love you. Listen, I was a high school teacher, so I was a cook in the Navy. I got out, cooked, and I went to culinary art school, and I became a high school teacher, and I taught culinary arts. Well, I'm talking in front of all these kids at student council, and I'm telling them about Soldier's Child, and I said, we got this wrap party after school today. I need you guys to come and help us wrap all these gifts. So everybody's like, okay. So we're in my dining room, huge dining room, we're wrapping gifts, and all of a sudden I hear, like this kid is coming down from the hallway. This kid shows up and says, "Yo, I'm here for the wrap party." So we're like, Joe, it's like, wrong wrap. But come on in anyway. I know you can't make that up. That's a true story. He stayed for about 20 minutes. He did some beatbox and then he left.
So was this kid's name Joel?
Oh, wow.
Gosh. So this is the same one. So I taught at the same high school that David Price was a student at. In fact, David Price was a basketball player as well. So he came, he agreed to do an alumni basketball game for us. And now we raised a couple $1,000. We're in the halftime, and we're closing down the front gate and, collecting the money and whatnot and counting it all up and stuff. And I'm off closing up the T-shirts, and I see the girls up front pointing to me to these two couples. Well, they come walking over to me, and this older, tall gentleman says, "Are you Daryl Mackin?" I said, "Yes, sir, I am." He says, "Well, I want you to know I've traveled a long distance to come here tonight to tell you I'm one of your children." And I was like, "Oh, Lord, I knew this day was going to come." So I was like, I looked at him, and then my next thought was like, "Man, there's no way this guy's my kid." I mean, he's looking at me. He can see my face, get whiter. So he says, "Let me explain." I was like, "Please do." He says, and this is the serious part. He says to me, this is a great story to end on, because I've heard it more than one time from Vietnam veterans and children of Vietnam, guys that have died in Korea and whatnot. But he said, "I was born in 1940. And he said, my father died in the Battle of the Bulge in 1942. He says, I want you to know I've traveled this long distance to come tell you, even to an old man like me, what you're doing really matters, and don't stop." And that was like in my first year of starting a Soldier's Child. And even though it's a funny story, it has been a charge for me to continue the work that we're doing for the kids and the families left behind.
That is awesome, Daryl. So we are reaching that point in time where we have to cut you off. But if you'd like to put out your website information and how somebody could donate or help out, it would be greatly appreciated.
Yeah, most
definitely. It's just a soldierschild.org, Facebook /a Soldier's Child. They can call us 615-220-1600 or 1-800-444-HERO. 1-800-444-HERO.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Daryl. It was a pleasure to have you on today. And the listeners out there, please check them out. They're awesome. They're helping the kids out. They're helping families out. He gave you the information. Go to their websites. Go to their Facebook page. Like them. And thank you again, Daryl. And we are going to cut to commercial. Joel.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Hey, no problem. Thank you so much for letting us talk to you, and hopefully we can bring you on again and talk about the success.
Yeah, and I hope you don't get arrested running through the streets with your Peyton Manning sign naked. So.
Right.
You always tell a Navy guy, right?
Take care, guys. Thanks.
Have a good one, shipmate.
Talk to you later. Bye.
All right.
Okay, well, first of all, that was a a great interview. I learned a lot on that. Danny, I was right there with you, dude. I was trying to. That was kind of an emotional. I know he wasn't trying to make it emotional, but it was still kind of emotional. And yeah, I'm actually sitting here trying to keep myself busy, cause I don't know, that kind of swung me, dude.
Yeah, well,
That kind of
those
swung
things
me. How
pop
are you
up.
doing?
Oh, I took a break for a second. We're good
Yeah,
to
I know. It's like I was telling him, and the bad thing about it, Danny, is it was I don't know why, but for some reason it was so hard for me to hear him. I don't know if it was my connection or the phone. It kind of mumbles, so I was like trying to listen real closely.
Mm.
But what I was trying to tell him is that, unless you're affected by it in some way, it doesn't bother you, Everybody's been affected in some way by cancer. And before my mom died, when she was going through all that stuff, I totally got what everybody meant by unless you're affected by it, doesn't matter. But we're going to go to
Well,
commercial.
that sound right there? That
Huh?
sound right? You hear that sound, Joel? That means we're getting ready for the power play, which will be coming up right after this.
Right, so we're going to break to commercial identification. And here's a trickery to start the power play. So I went to the Super Bowl, and there was a huge discretion political statement that was made during the halftime show that might piss you off. Details coming up soon, everybody. Stay tuned.
And now, a message from your radio station.
We just like to say that any connection between your mother and us is purely Facebook related.
NBR Radio.